Everybody, welcome to the video and welcome back. I feel like we haven't seen each other in quite some time. It's been about a month now since we've had our last NASCAR race, but we are back for Watkins Glen International. We have the Go Bowling at the Glen. This will take place on Sunday, August 8th at around 3 p.m. Eastern, and it's just good to be back. I definitely missed you all, so certainly happy to be breaking down this race for you all. I'm sure you guys are excited as well. And if you do find this video helpful in any way possible, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done so already. It's just something small, leaving a like, but the more you guys interact with the content, leaving likes, leaving comments, really going to help me out in the YouTube algorithm. And the more eyes that see these videos, the more it helps us all out. So I do appreciate that. Maybe we can get close to 300 likes in this video. If we do, that'd be absolutely awesome. If not, I still appreciate the effort. And if you want to follow me over on social media, I'm at Pennell16 on Twitter and CPen16 over on IG. And if you want to help support the channel over on Patreon and become an official member, link is down below in the description for that, right beside the orange bubble. You really can't miss it. But you get access to a lot of extra content that I put a lot of work into throughout the entire week, including my entire spreadsheet here, which has projections, power rankings, which is algorithm based, my own personal GPP driver exposures. I play a 150 max contest. I tell you exactly who I'm playing with notes. I can't be more transparent than that. My cheat sheet and pretty much everything you see on the bottom of your screen here. I mean, there's just a nice laundry list of things. I write an article. I have projections, my own optimizer, ownership projections, rankings, and all that fun stuff. And I also have a Discord community, which is absolutely awesome. Probably the only Discord community that was active each and every single day at all hours of the day throughout the break. So if you want to join an absolutely awesome community for NASCAR, DFS, and just various other things, I do have a nice home for you. Also, like $10 a month to join. It's like $2.50 a week, so I think it's a pretty darn good deal. And last but not least, this video is sponsored by Prize Picks. I'm sure most of you know what it is by now, but if you don't, it's daily fantasy sports simplified. There's no sharks, 150 max contests, or salary cap restrictions, or anything like that. Just you versus the props that they offer each and every single day. Now, I do run my own Prize Picks projections, which I will make available on my spreadsheet. And last time we had a race, we went 4 for 4 in the picks there that I wrote up in the article. So if you want to check it out, you can use code CPen and get a free money bonus up to $100. It's an instant deposit match. So if you deposit $50, you get $50 for free. If you deposit $100, you get $100 for free. So it's free money. Why not use it to your advantage? Just make sure you use code CPen at either prizepicks.com or you can use the link down below in the description. But I think that's it for the plugs for the most part. So without further ado, let's dive into the preview of this week's race. As per usual, I do need to mention a few things before we do get started. So first off, the live stream this weekend. I haven't done one in so long, so it's going to feel weird kind of doing one again. But I'm guessing since it's going to be on Sunday at 3 o'clock, the race, I'm thinking probably around 12 or 1 o'clock Eastern would be a good time to have the live stream. Because I think people liked it when I did it a little bit earlier last time instead of an hour before lock. So I'm thinking like 12 or 1 o'clock, you can plan on it for that. But if you've never joined a live stream before, just a chance for you to get your questions in and hang out during the race. It's always a fun time, so I'd really recommend joining. And if you want to join the DraftKings contest that I host each and every single week, all you got to do is comment your DK username down below. Say something nice with it, say something mean, whatever you want to do. But I'll send you the invite, and the first 100 some people that accept that invite we'll get to compete against me and others for a shout out on the channel and for some prizes as well. I do always want to shout out the winners from last week, or I should say like 3 weeks ago, so I'll throw them on the screen right about now. And coming home in first place, taking home the gold around $130 some, we had Ruben1974, who I know has been a long-time member of the channel, and he absolutely killed us all. 347 points, and second place was 319.35. So you killed it. Absolute shout out to you. Then coming home, taking home the silver and around $80, we had Navanchi, something like that. Chani, something like that. I do apologize for butchering your name, but coming in second place, so shout out to you. Then taking home the bronze, we had Firedog underscore 64 with 306.9 points. Then right in the bubble, we had Tyler Washear 93, Chedios, CPC 2C, Myers 2305, Scooter 8174 and 70. A nice little three-way tie for seventh place actually. Maverick 11X. Then rounding out the top 10, we had Steel 3342. And I apologize if I read your names wrong, but I had to take a picture on my phone here and it's quite blurry, but I think I got it close enough. So shout out to you all. And again, if you do want to join this contest that I host each and every single week, compete for prizes and a shout out, just comment that DK username down below. I'll be more than happy to have you. But I think that's it for the housekeeping for the most part, so let's get right to the preview of this week's race. And as previously mentioned, this is the Go Bowling at the Glen at Watkins Glen International. There's your outline of the track. Yes, it's another road course here. I believe it's our 5th one of the season, and we have another one next week. And if you're getting tired of road courses, I'm right there with you. I thought they were kind of okay at the beginning of the season, but I'm just kind of tired of road courses at this point. I want some, like, high-speed racing, although Daytona is coming up. I believe it's at the end of the month or very early September. I have to double-check that, but I think it's in, like, 4 races, so that'll be very, very exciting. And we have the playoffs coming up soon, so lots of exciting things happening. Anyway, this is a road course, more of a technical road course, which means it's more comparable to tracks like Coda, Road America, Sonoma, rather than the Rovals, but we can still use Roval data. I just wouldn't say they're as comparable as the other ones. And we're about 2.5 miles in length here, give or take, just a little bit shorter than that. And we only have 90 laps available to us, which is actually kind of a lot for a road course, but it's still overall not that many Dominator points available to us, only 63. So Dominator points are not going to be super important to us when building lineups this weekend. We're mainly going to be focusing on place differential and finishing position upside. That's the name of the game at road courses. That's what it's been all season long. If we looked at the previous optimal lineups, you're mainly going to see lineups that are built based on place differential and maybe a driver or two that start close to the front that can end up winning the race, like a Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, or something like that. Or we have some outliers like Christopher Bell and various other drivers. I'll just give you a quick sneak peek here of what I have on my spreadsheet available to Patreon members. So as you can see, previous optimal lineups from road courses this season. Last one, which was kind of crazy because we had qualifying and a few of these guys were not able to qualify, so they ended up starting in the very back. But as you can see, starting positions of 34, 40, 13, 37, 35, and 38. The race before that, 13 and 1, which, Kyle Larson kind of an outlier there, but he, dominated, won the race. So obviously for starting first, even though there's not a lot of place differential upside whatsoever, and there's limited laps, he led the majority of the race. So that's going to be the case. Yeah, he'll be in the optimal lineup. So 13, 1, 30. 29, 18, 16, then 8, 6, then 23, 27, 30, and 36. Also have the past road course slate analysis on here, which has every single road course race that we've ran this season, where drivers started, their ownership in that specific race, the fantasy points they scored, the value they returned, and everything like that. So I feel like it's a very helpful resource. And I also have my heat map on there, which tells you wherever they finish, how many DraftKings points they would score depending on where they start and things like that, which I find very, very helpful each and every single week. But anyway, getting back into the preview here, I think we kind of already talked about everything we needed to talk about here. Dominators are not going to be super important. Yes, you can take stabs at guys starting close to the front, but they're kind of reserved for tournaments. As far as cash games go, just focus on place differential and finishing position, and you should be good for the most part. But I think that's pretty much just about it. So I think we should get right into the driver by driver breakdown portion of the video, which is why I know everyone is here, because I know you all look at my analytics, and I know you will skip to it anyway. And if you want my overall thoughts on the pricing this weekend, since it's a road course, the pricing is typically pretty soft because we don't have a ton of laps, which means, we don't need to pay like a $12K for a guy like Kyle Larson because he can lead 200 laps in a race. That's just simply not the case here. So you can kind of build whatever the heck lineup you want, so we shouldn't have too many restrictions when it comes to that. But we'll start up top with the 10K range. We have Kyle Busch leading us off at $10,900. He's starting in 20th place, and I'm going to assume he's going to be probably the highest owned driver on the slate, if not close to it. I assume Chase Elliott will be right up there with them, but it's kind of like the same exact thing at the last road course we had, where Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott are probably going to be the chalk up top. And I am perfectly fine with that because I personally think they're definitely the best plays up top as well, so that should reflect in the ownership. But starting in 20th place, Kyle Busch is a very good road course racer. He's been very good at Watkins Glen. Now, he has really struggled at the Roval, so that's kind of like skewing his stats in some metrics if you look at the past 10 races at road courses, because he's got an average finish of 20.2 despite a running position of 12.4. But if we look specifically at just technical road courses like the ones I talked about, Road America, Sonoma, Coda, and things like that, he's been very, very good. An average finish of 5.7, which is actually the best of all active drivers. 114.5 driver rating, 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s. Not as many laps led as a guy like Chase Elliott or the wins or the fast laps, but he's still been absolutely excellent, close to 50 DraftKings points per race. Starting in 20th place, he could very easily win this race or at least get a top 5 or top 3 finish. So I'm all about Kyle Busch here. I think he's an excellent play, and if you're playing cash games, I feel like he's an absolute lock there, and there's a very good chance to be one of my highest owned drivers, if not my highest owned driver on the slate this weekend. My projections absolutely love him. Then dropping that Chase Elliott, $10,600. He's starting in 11th place. I know it's easy to say to load up on the 2 most expensive drivers on the slate, but that's my plan because, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, I kind of would be surprised if they both don't finish in the top 3 here. Yes, a guy like Kyle Larson, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin are going to be threats in this race, but for where they start, I definitely think they offer us the most upside here because, these are like 2 of the favorites to win the race. Chase Elliott is the favorite. The guy's the road course GOAT. We're not too far away from Chase Elliott having the most wins at road courses in history. He's still got a long way to go in his career. The guy is just so good at road courses. If you want to look at his most recent finishes at them, he's finished 1st, 2nd, 1st, 21st at the Daytona road course. But you got to keep in mind, he was winning and dominating that race before they had that weird rain caution, which kind of screwed him. But he could have very well won that race, then 1st, and then 1st again. So we could be looking at like 5 out of the past 6 road course races he's won. He's been absolutely awesome. I would be surprised if he doesn't win this race. I assume he's going to lead some laps. He's been awesome at technical road courses. He's great at Watkins Glen. The guy just absolutely crushes it. I have really nothing else to say. The guy's the best at road courses, and you should play him this week. The only way he probably won't be optimal is if he happens to get wrecked, which is why we don't go 100% on a driver. But if you want to go like 40, 50, 60 plus, I would not fault you because it's Chase Elliott, a road course, and despite like a weird rain caution or something like that, he is always money at these. And he doesn't even have the win to be optimal. If he finishes like second or third with some fast laps mixed in, and from 11th place, I mean, that's still a very good day over on DK at $10,600. Then Martin Truex Jr. here, $10,400. He's starting in 9th. And assuming all the ownership here is going to go to Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott, Truex could actually be a decent tournament pivot here. And it's kind of weird to say that at a road course because Truex is always usually pretty high owned to road courses because he's one of the best drivers in the field at them, kind of right behind Chase Elliott. Doesn't have quite the wins that Elliott does, but he's still really awesome at road courses. I mean, it's always been Chase Elliott and Truex when we go to an RC. So if he's going to be a lot lower owned just because of the ownership going to Busch and Elliott, Truex is a very good pivot here. I mean, the guy's been awesome at these. The second most average fast laps per race at the technical road courses, 4 top 5s. Again, not quite the wins, but 1 win, 113.5 driver rating, 8.7 average finish. Like, I have nothing bad at all to say about Truex. Looking at his recent finishes at road courses, 5th, which we can ignore because he did wreck at COTA. That's when it rained. It's kind of hard to use any statistics from COTA. Then 12th, 7th, and 3rd. I realize recently he hasn't exactly been the best, but the guy's very good at road courses, and I would definitely like him as a pivot in tournaments. And Kyle Larson, $10,200. I feel like Hendrick has definitely slowed down a bit, but he's still been good each and every single place we went to all season long. He dominated and won a road course at Sonoma when he started on the pole, which he was even optimal in that race. We kind of just got done talking about that, which, you know, it's hard to become optimal when you're starting on the pole at a road course, but he did it. And so far this season, he's kind of been hit or miss at road courses in terms of just getting a good finish because he's finished 16th at Road America, 30th at Daytona Roval, and then 1st at Sonoma and 2nd at COTA. So, I mean, starting 4th place, he's definitely a risky play here, but he could very easily finish inside the top 3 and win this race and get some laps led. So I would not full fade Kyle Larson, but just know he's a tournament-only play for me. Then Kurt Busch, $10,000. He's starting in 17th. I always like Kurt at road courses because he's one of the most consistent drivers in the field at them. Never really a guy that's probably going to win, but he's usually close to it, either a top 5 or top 10 contender. If we're looking at his most recent finishes at road courses, he's finished 4th, 6th, 27th at COTA, but he got stuck in the gravel trap at one point, so kind of got screwed there. But then 4th place, 4th, and then 14th. And if we're looking at the past 10 races at road courses, he's obviously been great. 4 top 5s, 6 top 10s, average finish of 10.7, which is one of the best in the field. So Kurt Busch, I can't imagine a lot of people are going to play him because you got guys like Kyle Larson, Truex, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, and then even William Byron right below him. So he's kind of sandwiched in a weird spot here. So if he's going to go overlooked, he's another really good play in tournaments this weekend because he does offer you place differential upside, and he could realistically gain around 10 to 15 spots in this weekend's race. Then dropping down to the 9K range here, we have Billy B at $9,800, starting in 15th. So I feel like he's a pretty similar play here to a guy like Kurt Busch. Now, personally, I prefer Kurt Busch over William Byron because Busch has just always been really good at road courses. We have a long, track record of that. And as for William Byron, he's kind of been a bit hit or miss here. I mean, if we're looking at his technical road course statistics, he's only averaging 8.6 DraftKings points per race with a 21.2 average finish and a 14.1 running position. 0 top 5s, only 1 top 10 finish. If we're looking at his recent road course finishes, we have finishes of 33rd, 35th, 11th at COTA, 33rd at Daytona Roval, and then last season he had 6th and 8th place finishes. So he's been kind of getting a bit unlucky, so I don't want to get too lost in the stats here because obviously if he runs well, he's not going to get a 33rd or 35th place finish, where at 33rd, the guy's just been having trouble actually finishing the races. So it's going to skew statistics a little bit. We're looking at the past 10 races. We have 3 top 10s and 4 top 15s. At his price point, I mean, I just feel like he's going to be a guy that finishes probably right around like 8th or 10th place, which is fine, but at that price, I feel like we might need a little bit more. So I'll have some exposure to William Byron, but probably won't be anything too significant here, and I do personally prefer Kurt Busch just a little bit more. Then after William Byron, we kind of get into a stretch of guys where I don't really want to play them. Like, they're fine road course racers. I got nothing against them. They could all get top 10 finishes, but for where they're starting in their price points, they could all easily get outscored by guys like Chase Briscoe, Chris Buescher, and Ryan Newman, Michael McDowell on this slate just due to the place differential. So you got to be a little bit careful here. All tournament plays for me. Joey Logano, $9,600. The guy's a very good road course racer. If we're looking at his recent finishes, 15th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 9th. Like, yeah, that's very, very good. The problem is he's starting in 2nd place at $9,600. And even if he does lead some laps early on, we only have 90 laps available to us. People are going to be on different strategies where they stay out. He's not going to be a front all race. And Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, those guys are going to come fast soon enough. So I don't really have any interest in Joey Logano. My projections don't like him either. As for Denny Hamlin, $9,400 starting in 6th place. It's a little bit better because he's starting a little bit further back, but same thing can be said, like I said, for Joey Logano. Like, he could get like a 5th to 6th to 7th place finish, something like that. He's got finishes of 5th, 8th, 14th, 3rd recently. but that's not going to be enough for where he's starting. Like, yeah, the guy's great at technical road courses, average finish of 8th, running position inside the top 10, close to 100 driver rating, 3 top 5s and 4 top 10s, but he's going to have to dominate and win this race, and I don't really see that happening here. I can see a good run out of Hamlin. He's a tournament play for me, but it's a little bit rough here. If I had to pick between any of these guys starting close to the front, like Logano, Hamlin, Blaney, Keselowski, Hamlin would be my favorite play here, but that's not really saying too much. Ryan Blaney, $9,200. He's starting in 3rd place. The guy's fine at technical road courses, but I would have a hard time playing Blaney. My projections don't really like him, and I'm sure most people had the same thought process there. Starting in 3rd place, he has to win this race to be optimal more than likely. If he finishes in 2nd, I still don't think it's going to be enough because, I mean, I personally had Chase Briscoe and Michael McDowell as better plays as Ryan Blaney right now, so probably going to be a hard pass for me. I know it kind of hurts to say that because you guys know I'm a big Ryan Blaney fan. He had a great race last week. Not last week, but like a month ago at New Hampshire, but probably going to pass for me for Ryan Blaney this weekend. And Brad Keselowski, $9,000. Probably like the worst play in the slate. I would not play Keselowski. If you want to play him in a 150 max contest, maybe you could sprinkle in like 2 to 3% in case he leads like 40 laps and wins the race. If that happens, I would be amazed. I don't see that happening. He'll probably finish around 10th place, which is fine for real life, but not for DFS purposes this weekend. So I feel like he's a very, very strong fade candidate heading into Sunday. Then dropping down to the 8K range, we have Christopher Bell, $8,800, starting in 7th place. So I feel like he's a pretty similar play to Denny Hamlin here because he's a good road course racer. Typically, Joe Gibbs cars do run pretty well at road courses. Eric Jones did in the past. Christopher Bell's had some good finishes at road courses this year. Even won a race. Denny Hamlin's good. Kyle Busch is good. Obviously, Martin Truex Jr. is phenomenal. So I can definitely get behind some Joe Gibbs cars. The problem is they're all kind of starting close to the front besides Kyle Busch, so it's kind of hard to get too in on them. But Christopher Bell's been good at road courses this year, besides the 2 where he had issues in, where he finished 24th at Sonoma, where he had to go down pit road. Because at the very beginning of the race, at Sonoma, if you don't remember, I believe he had to like start on pit road because he had an issue, or it might have been a lap in or something like that. And then he drove his way back inside the top 10, was kind of chilling there all race long, looking like a great DFS play. And then the final restart, he had to go down pit road once again, which kind of killed his upside. And then 30th at Dakota because he wrecked, but it was kind of rain-stricken, so we can't really blame him for that. But the races that were clean, he finished 1st at Daytona and 2nd at Road America. So starting in 7th place at $9,000, a bit expensive for me. I do think he's a pretty solid tournament play because he definitely has top 5 potential for us, and I can't imagine his ownership will be anything too high this weekend. Alex Bowman, $8,600, kind of a similar play to Christopher Bell, where he just typically gets good finishes at road courses. Now, at Road America didn't really work out, where he finished 22nd, but he finished 9th, 8th, 10th, 8th, and 12th at the other previous road courses. So I think we can probably expect him to finish like around 8th to 12th place, which starting in 10th doesn't really offer you a ton of upside. Some sneaky top 5 upside there, but I'm not really a big fan of Alex Bowman this weekend just due to the starting position. Same can be said for Kevin Harvick. I don't really have any real interest there. Just starting a little bit too far up for me. The price is fine, but at road courses besides Daytona this year, where he finished 6th, he's finished 37th, 22nd, and 27th. So not really big on Kevin Harvick this weekend. But Chase Briscoe, $8,300. He's starting in 27th. He's got to be one of my favorite plays on the entire slate. So he had a couple races with issues where he finished 17th at Sonoma and 32nd at Daytona, where he cut that tire early on. But he has finishes of 6th and 6th place at Road America and COTA. And we know the guy's a good road course racer. We saw that in the Xfinity Series. And when he came up, I was always like, yeah, we're going to play some Chase Briscoe at road courses this season. And at the technical road courses this year, he's averaging 53.3 DraftKings points per race, an average finish inside the top 10, 2 top 10 finishes, and an average PD of 19.3 spots per race. And he's starting all the way back in 27th. Chase Briscoe should honestly be around like 95. Like, he should be more expensive than Logano, Hamlin, Blaney, Keselowski, in my opinion. The fact that he's not, he's all the way down to $8,300. He's going to be one of my favorite plays in the entire slate. Now, that will reflect in ownership. You guys can check out my ownership projections over on the Optimizer because they've been pretty close to being accurate pretty much each and every single week this season. So you have to decide if you want to go even with the field, way above the field, or just kind of fade him to get leverage. But I'm personally a big fan of Chase Briscoe here. I think he could easily get a top 10 finish, and if he does that, $8,300 starting 27th, he'll definitely be in the optimal lineup, and my projections are loving him. I was playing around with lineups, and he just keeps popping up in them. And then Ross Chastain, Tyler Reddick, both these guys are very similar plays in my opinion. Both tournament options only for me. Could not imagine going there in cash games with the other place differential drivers that we have priced below them. But Chastain's actually been pretty good at the road courses, and I actually think he's a solid target in tournaments heading into the weekend. And if we're looking at technical road courses, he's got 3 top 10s and a top 5. The past 3 road courses, he's finished 7th, 7th, and 4th, which have all been at the technical road courses. So I could actually get behind some Ross Chastain here. I don't think a lot of people are going to click on his name because he's $8,100 starting in 12th place. But if he finishes around top 5, I mean, there's a good chance he could be optimal. I don't think the ownership's going to be too high here. So I think Chastain's actually a pretty good target for tournaments. Tyler Reddick, $8,000, starting in 13th. He hasn't been quite as good as Chastain, but he always has top 10 upside each and every single week. He finished 8th at Road America, 19th at Sonoma, which isn't great, but then 9th at Coda, which hard to use too much Coda numbers here because, again, it was just an absolute downpour and they should not have been racing on that track. But I do think Reddick is in a similar boat to Chastain where they could be very viable in tournaments, and he does have an average finish of 12th place at technical road courses. Then dropping down to the 7K range, we have Chris Buescher starting at 24. That's $7,800. I do think he's a very solid cash game play here. You could obviously play him in tournaments, but for cash game purposes, he's kind of about as safe as it gets. The past 6 races at technical road courses, he's finished in the top 20 each and every single time. And if we expand that to the past 10 races, he's actually finished inside the top 20 each and every single time. The only driver that can say that is Denny Hamlin, so he's been very consistent, average finish of 14.7 at road courses the past 10 races, over 30 DraftKings points per race. So Chris Buescher, a very safe and solid cash game play heading into the weekend. MDB, $7,600. He's starting in 14th. He's pretty solid at road courses. He had a good run last time out. Just slid into the top 10 where he finished in 10th place at Road America, but he's got 3 top 10s at technical road courses. He's got a top 5. I think he's an interesting tournament play here starting in 14th. Would not go there in cash games, but as far as tournament goes, price right beside guys like Chris Buescher, Daniel Suarez, Ryan Newman, Michael McDowell, Eric Jones, starting the farthest up than anyone in the 7K range. I feel like he could go a bit overlooked, and that might be a mistake for DraftKings players heading into the weekend. Daniel Suarez, $7,500, starting in 21st. He's kind of a boring play here, but I like the price point. I like where he's starting. He's shown upside in the past here. Actually, if we go all the way back to 2017 and 2018, he has finishes of 3rd and 4th place here when he was in Joe Gibbs equipment. Obviously, Trackhouse Racing has been pretty good this year, but it's not quite Joe Gibbs, but I mean, so far this year, Trackhouse has definitely been solid, capable of top 15 finishes, so I'll certainly have some interest in Daniel Suarez. Ryan Newman, $7,300, starting in 28th. Trust me, I hate him just about as much as you guys, and so far at road courses, the past 6 races, he has not been very good. Finishes of 32nd, 33rd, 24th, 20th, 31st, and 19th. If we get a clean race out of Ryan Newman, he should be able to compete for a top 20 finish, but to be honest, I'm not overly interested in him. I'd much rather play Michael McDowell. I might even want to play Eric Jones over him. It's just Ryan Newman has not been good at the road course. He's only 1 top 10, top 15s, and 4 top 20s. So I think he's viable. I will have some Ryan Newman just because of where he's starting, but I don't think he's a must play by any means. Michael McDowell, $7,200, starting in 25th. My projections like him a ton this week. Only $7,200 starting in 25th. So you get a lot of place differential upside here because Michael McDowell is actually pretty good at road courses. Now, the past 2 have not been very kind to him. He's finished 30th and 28th, but 7th at Coda, 8th at Daytona Roval, 32nd at the Charlotte Roval last year, then 10th at Daytona. The guy's a good road course racer. If he doesn't get wrecked or spun or something like that, he can typically compete for a top 10, top 15 finish. And at that price point, I definitely think he's one of the better plays on the slate. You can certainly play him in cash games. Eric Jones, $7,000. Looking at these numbers, it's kind of sad because we know we can't replicate that in the 43 car, where he has 2 top 5s at technical road courses, average finish of 10.5, and over 40 DraftKings points per race. If you're just looking solely at this, you'd think he's one of the best plays on the slate. Unfortunately, that 43 car is going to cap his upside a little bit, but fortunately for us, at road courses, the equipment won't matter too much. It's more so driver skill at road courses, so he should be able to compete for a top 15. We've seen that so far this season where he's finished 19th, 11th, 16th, and 14th. Obviously, won't have that top end upside like Christopher Bell does in the 20 car, but he should still be solid enough starting in 22nd at that price point to be a viable play over on DraftKings this weekend. Eric Almirola, $6,800. He's starting in 8th. Probably an easy fade for me here. I would expect him to finish around 15th, 20th place, so starting in 8th. I know the price is nice. I know he won the most recent race, but it's completely different this time going to a road course. I don't really have any real interest in Eric Almirola this weekend. Bubba Wallace, $6,600. He's mainly just a price play here for a guy that has top 20 potential and somewhat of a Joe Gibbs car starting in 26, so I think he's viable just because of that. But that's really the only reason you're playing him is just to try to get different down low and rostering guys that can pick up a few spots at the end of the day. Cole Custer, Ricky Stenhouse, Austin Dillon, these guys are all starting right next to each other, besides Austin Dillon, 1 spot away from the rest. But all these guys are viable in tournaments. Guys like Ricky Stenhouse and Austin Dillon, I think you can make a case for in cash games because of their price points and where they're starting, because they both have top 15 potential. If we look at the most recent finishes for these guys at road courses, Stenhouse, 12th place, 7th at Sonoma, which we really shouldn't count, 22nd, 18th, 17th, and 16th. So there's a potential for him to gain a couple spots here, compete for a top 15. And Austin Dillon's typically really bad at road courses, but the past 3 races have actually gone pretty well for him, and they all been at the technical ones, which I do like to see. He's finished 12th at Coda, 13th at Sonoma, and 11th at Road America. Starting in 16th at this price point, I think Austin Dillon will actually pick up some ownership this weekend, as ugly as that sounds at a road course, but he certainly looked pretty good recently, so I can't really knock him for it. $6,100 just seems a bit too cheap in my opinion, so I will have some exposure to Austin Dillon. Then getting down to the scrubs here, we have James Davison at $5,900, starting at 36. The guy's actually not bad at road courses. It's just the car he's in is pretty bad, although he's not in the 15 this week. He's actually, I believe, in the 51 for Rick Racing. Obviously not top-line equipment whatsoever, but it's definitely a little bit of an upgrade from the 15 car here, so maybe we compete for a top 25 for Davison. If there's carnage and he survives that, there's a decent chance Davison could actually put up a decent day at below $6,000. Looking at his road course finishes recently, 28th, 25th, 29th, 23rd, 29th, and 30th, so no worse finish than 30th place over the last couple of seasons. And this far back in the pack, I actually think Davison has a little bit of upside this weekend, as ugly as that sounds. Starting in 29th, he's a fine cheap play just to afford some expensive drivers this weekend. Last 3 races, he's finished 20th, 18th, and 21st, and that would get the job done below 6K, starting all the way back in 29th place. Anthony Alfredo, 5,600, he's starting in 31st. He's somewhat viable here. When he didn't have issues where he finished 37th and 31st, he finished 18th and 22nd, which I can't really knock. And at that price point, if he can pick up close to 10 spots, he's just a fine lineup filler down low to get some expensive guys like Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, those kind of guys. So I can't really hate on Alfredo. Ryan Preece starting in 23rd. Not really in love with Preece here. I feel like I'd rather play Anthony Alfredo and Corey LaJoie, maybe even James Davison, but Preece does have potential top 20 upside. He did finish 9th at the Daytona Road Course, 14th at Charlotte, 15th at Coda, 21st at Sonoma. Wrecked out last race where he finished 40th at Road America, but I don't hate Ryan Preece here. Maybe I'll take that back over James Davison over Ryan Preece. But I think Ryan Preece is like pretty close to being playable with guys like Corey LaJoie and Anthony Alfredo this weekend. I kind of take back what I said about him over James Davison, because Davison doesn't really have top 20 upside. Ryan Preece does, but James Davison might be just a little bit safer there. Then dropping down to Anderson here, he's starting in dead last and 37th. He's $5,300. Obviously, we have no cut date to look at for him, but if he survives carnage, he could pick up like 5 spots here. He's on the 15 car, which kind of sucks, but again, road courses don't really like hamper you too much when it comes to your equipment. So maybe he can kind of put up a James Davison kind of day, which is certainly possible, but I'm not really overly in love with that play here. Justin Haley starting in 30th, $5,200. The price is nice. He's starting in 30th, so he could always gain a spot or two. So far this season, he's finished 25th, 40th, and 24th at road courses, so maybe he could pick up like 5 spots here, but I don't really want to play Justin Haley, to be honest. Cal Tilley, $5,000, starting in 33rd. No real interest here. I don't really have interest in any of these guys. Like, the lowest I'd go is maybe Anderson, but realistically, Ryan Preece if you're not building more than 20 lineups this weekend. But with that being said, I think that'll be pretty much it for the video. So if you made it all the way through, let me know down in the comments below. I do appreciate everyone that does make it all the way through. Make sure you leave a like if you did enjoy the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet already. I'll be here all season long breaking down every single NASCAR race that we have, doing live streams, and also cover other sports, including the MLB and NFL, which is coming up in about a month. So I'll be doing NFL content pretty much every single day when the time comes, so I'm definitely excited about that. Follow me over on social media if you want. ChrisPennell16 on Twitter, CPenn16 over on IG. And if you want to help with the channel over on Patreon, become an official member. Link is down below in the description for that. But you get access into my entire spreadsheet here, which has a bunch of stuff, not just this little main sheet here that I show you, but a bunch of stuff on the back end, my own projections, which have taken down multiple tournaments this season, my optimizer, which includes my ownership projections. You can put 150 laps, do certain rules, and all that fun stuff. I find it pretty awesome. I'm sure most of you will as well. And if you do get access to the optimizer, it will give you access to other sports like NFL, MMA, PGA, and all that fun stuff if you are interested. Also, my rankings, cheat sheet in the Discord community. It's only like $10 a month to join the Discord, so if you just want to try it out, hang out with the people, it's always a nice group in there. We talk each and every single day at all hours of the day. I mean, it's the only Discord community that was probably active throughout the entire break at each and every single day. So I think it's an awesome place if you want to come check it out. And don't forget, this video was sponsored by Prize Picks. It's just you versus the projections, and I will have my own Prize Picks projections put up on the sheet this weekend once we get some contests up for Prize Picks over for the Cup Series. But we went 4 for 4 with them last time, and you can win up to like 10 extra money. So if you want to check it out, use code CPEN at either prizepicks.com, or you can use the link down below. But it's a free money bonus, instant deposit match up to $100, so it's free money when I use it to your advantage. But I think that's going to be pretty much it. I will stop rambling. I'll see you guys for the live stream on Sunday, probably around noon or 1 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you comment your DQ username down below if you want to enter the contest, and I'll see you guys on Sunday.